Hello, beautiful souls. All right, let me make sure I have the chat up so that if you have any questions, I can see them. All right, let's see. Let's see. Awesome. Yes, got volume. I can see them. But we're going to turn the volume down so that it doesn't echo the whole call. That would be annoying. All right, so I'm going to move this to a different window over here so I can see your comments. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm almost ready. I'm ready, but I just want to make sure I'm not gonna miss any comments. It's kind of odd because I'm going through Zoom, but I don't see the Zoom. So it's like, interesting. All right, here we are. Hello, beautiful souls. I am guided to share some of the love and expansion that I am experiencing in my life. So first of all, I wanted to say, as most of you know, like my personality is psychic healer, mystic mother, muse. I've been playing with mystic mother, muse, and MM a lot recently. I don't know why. I just kind of like those. I support and hold women through their journey of awakening and remembering their power through healing patriarchal and religious wounds, embracing sexuality, pleasure, and play, which transmutes how we are in relationship. Simply put, really helping women speak their desires and get them on an energetic level, spiritually, but also in relationships. Beloved, I would like you to brush my hair or whatever. Right. So good stuff, really good stuff. And I've gone on this journey that I guide women through. And I went from being codependent, passive aggressive, an addict, a cheater, a liar, feeling stuck, feeling trapped, really feeling like I was suffocating, unable to use my voice, to pretty much all my dreams that I knew of coming true. And every day is full of experiences I embrace. I'm free and expansive, and I'm integrating new levels for humanity in our consciousness and what's happening. The old world is dying. I don't know if you noticed. The old world is dying. The new world is being reborn or rebirthed, right? We're in this, it feels a little bit overwhelming and chaotic sometimes. And you got to get the old out to bring in the new. So that's kind of what we're at in humanity at this point. It's not kind of, it is definitely where we're at. So it's a lot to go through. And I love supporting women as we are rebirthing ourselves and remembering our divinity and our creatrix power, and we can create the life we want. And all these patriarchal and religious wounds, they don't need to chain us anymore. We are free. We are at a super powerful time for women on this planet right now. So I love helping women step into that. Okay, so I felt a little shy the last little while because I feel so good and guided. So I was very tempted to feel like it was unfair with all the darkness and the war, the violence, all the fucked up shit happening in the world, for all my personal dreams to be coming true. Like I was really tempted to judge it. And yet I've been watching my life transform and integrating these new levels of being, and like just really curious about who I'm becoming, because I don't quite understand how it could be this magical, except for that I've done all this work. So I'm really loving this beautiful journey of awakening and remembering the great unfoldment that we are in. And as I heal more and more layers of wounds and programming and trauma, I feel grounded and expansive, spacious, full. All my needs are met. This is not what I'm hearing from other people. This is not their experience of life right now. So if that's you and you want to chat about it, I would love to have a conversation with you, because it can be your experience. And one thing that I felt super guided, like I'm very clear and centered, and just really, really in a great place. And I felt called to share about one of the most recent evolutions I've had, because for anyone that's a leader, coach, healer, and just personally, we're all healing ancestral wounds anyway right now. This is how we birth a new version of humanity. One of the things that's been like this huge gem in my life is nonviolent communication, which has been around for like 20 years or more. I think probably most of you have heard of it. It's usually referred to now as compassionate communication. So nonviolent communication and authentic relating, circling, these tools are incredible. If you're not into them yet, it's kind of like a hyperspeed consciousness growth plan, which is everything right now, energetically. And everything's the growth, the ability to release old patterns and old ways of thinking that are outdated and like keeping you stuck is like, you can transmute it like instantly right now. It's really cool. We have a lot of supportive energy for us right now on the planet. So I wanted to share because these things have been really shifting my life. It's kind of like similar, like circling or authentic relating. If you've never heard of these things, integral relating or integral circling, like there's a bunch of different I don't know all the different types of groups that are doing these different things. I just know some of them, and they are all a little bit nuanced. They have their own, depending on the teacher or whoever, the facilitator, you have kind of a different energy. But similar to having like if you're a coach or a healer, a leader, someone on this path of awakening, and it's like having all your friends over who are all other coaches, and you guys are all being present and available with each other, like vulnerable, authentic, raw, real, empowered, and everyone feels seen and heard. So this is why it's like I said, hyperspeed consciousness growth plan, doing these types of things. So if you're someone who's integrating awakened experiences, such as profound meditative experiences or psychedelics, like if you've been doing plant medicine journeys or had Kundalini rising experiences, then I highly recommend these tools for integrating the 5D in this 3D world. So nonviolent communication would be where I would advise starting. Before I started working on my communication, like before I started that class, I started working on my communication like way long ago. Some of you know, language evolution is a huge, huge deal for me. But really, I started implementing the process of nonviolent communication, I guess July, very beginning of July. I didn't realize how violent my communication is. Like, I didn't realize how much violence is accepted in our language, in our culture at large. It was very, how you learn something new and then your awareness is like, whoa. And you can conceptualize it before you experience it. It was just really interesting discovering how, even with my son or my partner, it's noticing like, oh, that was violent, or like, ooh, that wasn't the nicest way I could have said that. And we're all waking up and growing, and we're all on our own path and journey. But for me, I don't have the patience or I don't have time to have violence. Yeah, I just didn't realize. And so it's like one of those things where you learn a new thing and then it's like the blinders are like, woo. All right, so I'm really excited, which is why I want to share it with you. It's kind of like, yeah, how do I want to say this? I mean, it's just anytime where you learn about something new that you're doing, like if you see some of your shadow, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's my shadow thing again that I'm working on. So I think it's really interesting that as I've observed and reflected on my own language and how I've found that there's violence in it according to nonviolent communication. So like anytime you blame yourself, that would be considered violent. So I used to blame myself for things. That's definitely violent. Or just being like, oh, Neve, you're such a whatever. That would be violent. So just noticing that, observing that it was in my language according to nonviolent communication. And as someone who doesn't feel violent, I was really tempted to be kind of upset when I realized, like, wow, I'm not talking as nicely as I could be to like the people that mean the most to me, like my family, my friends. It's okay with friends, but family, especially, is where those patterns kind of sneak in. So instead, I'm appreciating the new awareness around language evolution, and I was really inspired to share this. I actually wrote to share about this like 3 or 4 weeks ago. But yeah, now it's coming out. And I finished the first class that I was in for nonviolent communication, and it was so much. It feels so weird to reprogram language because we're talking. So to like stop and like, oh, instead of saying you all the time, say I in my experience, or what am I experiencing? What am I feeling? What am I needing? What are my needs? Like, I didn't even know what my needs were, and it's just been very eye-opening. So I highly encourage everyone to start embracing nonviolent communication. And you can do that because I'm teaching, guiding, facilitating a free class with the goddesses from the book club about the basics of nonviolent communication and how to start. So for me, I really didn't even know how harsh I was being with my words and my nonverbal communication. And I strongly believe if we as individuals embrace these tools from nonviolent communication, which I've also, like I said, is also called compassionate communication now. I don't think people like nonviolent, like, because it's a non thing. So they refer to it as compassionate communication a lot now. And authentic relating, like, that's great too. What happened is we're becoming less violent and more emotionally mature and evolved. So what I'm seeing is, like, I'm very upset. Like, I have emotions and feelings about war, about this planet and humans still having war, right? And so what do I do with that? So one of the ways that we can shift collective consciousness away from war is if we as individuals become less violent with our family members, with our friends, and with ourselves. So basically, it's yet again the Gandhi teaching of be the change you want to see in the world. I want to see peace. So I'm working on my communication, becoming more compassionate and peaceful, caring more about what other people are feeling and experiencing. And yeah, just taking some of the violence out of it. It's very subtle, but there's a lot of violence in our communication. I want to live in a warless world. I want peace. And I know what I can do right now. I can't stop the war happening. Like, there's things I can do to help that effort, sure. But one thing I know I can for sure do is I can work on nonviolent communication. So especially if you are upset about the war and you don't feel like there's a lot you can do, maybe coming to this empowered goddess speech class that I'm doing will help. So I invite you to join an authentic relating group near you, or a circling group near you, or NVC class near you, or come to my free class on the basics. It's really powerful. It's been very powerful in my experience anytime that I've done authentic relating or circling or nonviolent communication. Even having friends that have studied nonviolent communication, I can tell when I'm with them, if I feel safer. And they definitely feel safer. It's really interesting. It feels less violent. It is basically a great way to say it. So like I said, I'm offering that class. I think it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So just comment on this video with your email if you want the Zoom link for that. Just dropped my pen. Or if you don't want to share your email because other people can see it, you can always just send me a message. That's going to be a really powerful class. So if you haven't really heard about nonviolent communication or you haven't practiced it, you start with what you're noticing or observing, especially when you're in conflict. I'm observing there's some tension in the room. I'm feeling anxious. I feel the need to communicate more about this. Would you be willing to continue talking to me about this? Okay, so that's be an example of like the framework. So we're going to practice that in the goddess the free goddess class I'm doing. So hope you can make it. If not, I'll record it. I can send you the recording. This is how we get to peace. This is totally how we get to collective peace on the planet. Like, I don't think there's many, like, there's really no one I know that like wants war to be happening. Even my friends who are in the military do not want war to be happening, right? So how do we actually become a humanity that doesn't do that? And it's, we really have to not be violent with ourselves in our own communication and then with others in our communication. So that's why I felt really called to offer this, because it's been changing my life. So another huge part of this work is the forgiveness practice. I'm going to reshare that link. The invitation is to do the forgiveness practice in November. This is it's a 7-day practice, 10-day practice. I don't remember. I think it's 10. I need to do it again too. So I'm going to do it again with everyone. But it's every day forgiving others and yourself. And it's very powerful and spiritual. And it also helps with this work. And you can also forgive like organizations or groups of people or right, whatever. It doesn't have to be an individual necessarily. So that can be really helpful if you're feeling triggered by what's going on, to forgive all the things that are triggering, you know, whichever political party you don't like, you can forgive them. It's just really powerful spiritual healing. So the challenge, the invitation for the month of November in this group is to do the forgiveness practice. And it is a requirement to work with me as well. I don't really want women in my goddess group or doing the divine feminine initiation if they haven't done the forgiveness practice, because you can only expand so far until you really forgive. So there's that. It's really powerful and deep and great timing before the holidays. So us blaming family members for our experiences is not how we heal and transmute wounds into our greatest learnings and teachings, especially for coaches and healers, right? Our biggest wounds become our teachings. They become our learnings. So that's, yeah, blaming or feeling like a victim to circumstances or situations, not how we do it. Forgiveness is how we do it. And then responsibility, radical responsibility. So it's been such an honor to jump on here. I will jump on here more. I feel like my cup overfloweth, and I would love to give and serve more. I feel very called to give and serve you all more now at this time. So yeah, it's so nice to be here live with you all, and I'll check in again soon. But I am doing these goddess offerings. So it's goddess gatherings. Oh, well, me and the goddesses are doing it as an offering, just so you can start to connect with us if it's something that you're considering, being part of the Goddess Book Club, or maybe doing the Divine Feminine Initiation, or actually embracing your sexuality and embodying the Divine Feminine. What does that really mean? You know, so I'd love to talk to you about any of those things. If you would like to chat, I believe my link should be in the description. If not, I can drop it in. And if you watch this later, just do hashtag replay and let me know what resonated or landed for you. Nonviolent communication is freaking blowing my mind. And I know it is how we can shift individually to help the collective not be violent. And that's exciting to me. I'm excited. It took me like 8 weeks. It was like 2 months of my mind being blown and my language like reorienting. Wild stuff. And also, if you want to take my teacher's class, send me a message. I'll send you his information as well. He's in Nashville and his class is stellar. I think he's been doing this for a long time. So I love you all. Let me know how I can serve you, how I can be of service and help you in any way. Talk to you soon.